Coming up, the impact that this group has is all positive, not one negative word. And if you're in need of a pet, stay tuned. This and more coming up on Perspectives. Hello, everyone. You know, it occurred to me the other day that I really am in a unique position here at Rogers State University Public Television. That's right. What I do here isn't really being done to the extent that you see on commercial TV stations. Now, they cover the news of the day, and they do it quite well, and that's important. But too much news can kind of make your stomach a little bit queasy. Now, there's very little coverage, I must point out, of what's called public affairs, and that's just, general things going on in the area. But they do a good job of that. Actually, that's not a criticism, you see, not really. What it is what it is, and that can't be changed. In my position, I can and do take politicians to task on a regular basis. Well, I don't want to pick on them all the time, but I have to admit that I tend to hammer on folks in a position to do good and don't. With that in mind, I thought it might be a nice change to talk about the good in people for just a little bit of a change today, and we're going to do that. Believe me, there's a lot of it out there that you don't hear about, and there are a lot of people who, it seems, would like to extend a helping hand. They just don't know where to start. Now, I'm not preaching about the need for the almighty dollar. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying that there are needs out there that can be addressed that don't require a lot of money. For example, if you ask any doctor or nurse, they will tell you that on a regular basis there are folks who come to the hospital because of an injury or an illness. They never get a visitor or a card or a flower at all for their entire stay. Nobody comes by the room unless they're a healthcare professional. Maybe if you have a little extra time, just maybe, I'm not saying you have to, but just maybe you could help at that point. You could talk to your church or your synagogue or your mosque, and they might recommend a way to go about it. If you don't belong to one, call the hospital. Ask about their volunteer programs, and they'll be glad to get you plugged in and get you started. You'd be amazed at all the needs you could fill out there. And it is surprising, once you start to look around, all the holes that we can fill so very easily. There are, of course, many ways to spend a little good if you have the time on your hands. The Food Bank of Northeast Oklahoma is always in the market for volunteers. Always, I might add. So is Goodwill or the Salvation Army or even the Red Cross. And I'll bet you haven't thought about this either. There are elderly people out there right now as we speak, living alone, no family, no friends, nobody to talk to. You see what I'm getting at? There are plenty of needs you could fill and make a serious difference in someone's life because they would know that somebody cared enough to call or just come by and say hello. There are also reading programs for children and the elderly, both of which serve a great deal of good. There's always a need, too, for a warm blanket or maybe an extra piece of clothing or something that you might have that you're not using and never will. A gift card from Walmart or Costco would help. Doesn't have to be big, $5 or $10. You'd be amazed at how far that would go to somebody who has zero. They have nothing. Senior Services of Tulsa, good place to start. Give them a call, and they'll help you get directed. Also, I want to get you to remember something, if you will. Remember when George H.W. Bush made his acceptance speech for nomination for president, he referred to the 1,000 points of light. Well, that phrase, the 1,000 points of light, referred to America's diversity, and that slogan caught on. We defined a new kind of volunteerism out of that, and that called on people to give of their time, their talent, their voices, and resources in services to build a brighter future for all of us. I'm not saying now volunteerism would solve the problems in this nation that has us so divided. I am saying, though, it wouldn't hurt to reach out when you can. Who knows? You might become one of those 1,000 points of light along a pathway we all should walk. I'm Sam Jones, and that's my perspective. Coming up, they fill a very important need right here in our community. We'll learn more when we come back.